Hi guys. Okay, so this is part 2 of the sheer lace videos. I'm going to show you how to do a white washed one today. And I'm going to actually show you 2 different ones. So I am going to now mix up my white to make it sheer. Now I'm not using clearly pink this time, only because you do get a very pale tinge of pink, which could look good if you're doing, well, it looks fine, but I'm going to actually mix mine up with my top coat. So I'm going to decant onto my black tile. I'm going to decant a nice, well, theoretically a nice amount of, here we go, a nice big healthy blob of my cream puff. And I'm going to then add, hopefully a nice big healthy blob of my top coat if I've got lots left. Yes, I have. Oops, and I've just got it on the brush. Okay, so we don't, oh no I haven't, that's alright. Don't mind me, I'll just talk to myself. Okay, so a nice healthy amount of top coat, because you don't want this to be very white, you want this to be quite sheer. So that should do it. And then I am going to get a dotting tool and mix that up. So I'm just going to give that a really, really good mix. Now before I did use my brush and I didn't like that because it was just all glooped up onto my brush. Now I think that will probably still be too white. Whoops. So I'll just throw everything around a bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit more top coat. Now I have done a healthy amount here. I know this looks like a huge amount, but I'm doing 2 colour pops here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more top coat. Give it a mix. The other thing is, if you've actually made it quite, if it's not going to be very, very sheer, you might need only 1 coat, because normally I do 2 coats of this, but we'll see. Okie doke. So I've got my brush and I've got my colour pop here, so let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm ready to pop this onto my nail. Now if it is quite, if it isn't as sheer as I'd like, I will only end up doing 1 coat of this, because I don't want it to be very, I want it to be as sheer as I can get it without having to add absolutely tons more top coat. So I'm just mixing that up a bit, and I'm just going to add a bit now onto my nail pop, colour pop, and I've just held it in front of the black tile so that you can actually see if it's going to be sheer. Okay, now that's not too bad, but I will only be doing 1 coat with this, because it is, it's sheer, but it's not very sheer, so I don't want it to be any thicker than this. So I'm just popping it on, trying to even it out. So obviously not too much on your brush. Make a mess around the top. Okay, now that's the sheer nail, and I've just let that sit. I've just been off camera for about a minute and I've let that sit, and it sort of levels out a little bit, so you've got a reasonably good coverage there. Now I have done the other one also, so I'm going to pop these in the lamp for 2 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, so these have been in the lamp for 2 minutes now. I'm just holding them in front of the black tile so that you can see that they are actually sheer, because if I hold them here, that you can't tell. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is number 1, well, one of them I'm going to stamp on, and number 2 I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to add a little bit of additive. So let's get started. Okay, so again I'm going to use a Princess Collection plate, a Moyu plate. It's the same one I used before, but this time I'm going to use this flowery image up here, and this is going to be for the one that is just plain stamped. So obviously this time I'm using white Conad polish. So this is going to be a very, very subtle look. I just wanted to show you how you can do white as well. Obviously you can sheer it out a lot more than I've done, but I'm going to just show you how to do it so it gives you an idea of what to do. So cover my plate with a nice healthy white, or with a nice healthy amount of white, or too much in my case. That was too much, so scrape it off and immediately just pop it on your stamper. Now you can see that because, sorry, I'll just try and focus on it. There you go, you can see that because my stamper's stained. So I'm then going to get my plate out the way, and I'll try and pop this black tile here so that you can see what I'm doing. Ooh. Okay, and then I'm just going to get my colour pop, and I'm going to line it up as best as I can, and I'm going to just roll it on. And once I get to a certain point, I press, because this is very squishy, and I'm going to pull away. Now I do this on the clients too. It doesn't hurt them. It's quite a soft-headed stamper, and I will put the link where to get that below. Okay, so now that, as you can see, has transferred perfectly, and I actually forgot to remove the inhibition layer there, so you can stamp on the inhibition layer if you're doing one nail. I wouldn't advise doing it on many nails because the inhibition layer will clog up your stamper. Now, as you can see here, I've got a little bit of excess excess stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very lightly press it down to make sure that my image is covered, or sorry, the bits on the actual nail are covered, and then I'm going to just break the rest away. And that's my parrot in the background pretending he's a duck. Okay, so that is covered. So as you can see, you do get a really, really good coverage. Now I'm not going to edge this one in white because I quite like that how that looks. So that's the first one. So the only thing I wouldn't have changed there is I wouldn't have stamped on the sticky inhibition layer. I would have wiped that and stamped straight onto the colour coat. Again, if you are not a confident stamper, you can either do a layer of clearly pink before you stamp, remove your inhibition layer, then you stamp, then you top coat. Or if you are a confident stamper, on your colour coat, remove your inhibition layer and stamp. So that's what you end up with. Now I will top coat that, and I will show you at the end what I'm going to do. So this one I'm going to top coat in a matte top coat, and the other one I will do in a shiny one. So this is the second one ready to have something done to it. It's got its sticky layer still on, its inhibition layer. Now what I want to do, I haven't tried this so I could completely fluff this up on camera in front of you all, but what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a sparkle, just a tiny, tiny hint of a shimmer. So what I'm going to use, oh hang on, I'm first going to shut my door because my bird is going nuts. Hang on one second. Okay, so the bird is now quiet. I am going to use my CND additive effect in green gold sparkle. I'm going to pop a tiny, tiny bit of this onto the tacky layer so that I can just have a bit of a shimmer through my design. Okay, so I've decanted a bit of the green gold sparkle onto my lid here, and I'm just going to get a little tiny bit on my brush, and I'm just going to press, not all over, just, sorry, I'm just getting rid of a fluffy that's just appeared there, just a little tiny, I'm just literally just touching in random places. I mean, you could cover this quite nicely if you really wanted. I don't think it's going to affect the sheerness, but I just wanted it to capture the, when it captures the light, can you see that? So it's just a hint of shimmer, and it's a gorgeous green gold, well obviously green gold sparkle because that's what it's called. And I'm just popping a little bit more on. I might actually do, there's me going I won't do the whole nail, but I think I'd probably just add a little tiny bit more. So let me see if I can zoom in for you. Okay, so you can just see there's a tiny little bit of shimmer, but it hasn't taken away the sheerness of the nail. Okay, so we're at the point now where we would stamp. Now again, I will just say to you, I am actually going to stamp onto this layer. If you are a confident stamper, that's fine. If you're not, and you do make a mistake on this layer, you need to remove it. You'll remove your additive and you will remove some of your colour. So if you're not a confident stamper, you can either at this point add a layer of clearly pink, remove the inhibition layer and stamp, or if it is going to make your image slightly pink tinged and you don't want that, you can add a layer of top coat, remove the inhibition layer and then stamp, obviously after curing. But I am going to stamp onto this layer. I'm using my Emoyu London Princess plate again. Now this image is just yelling at me. It has been all day, so I'm going to use this image. I've never used it before and I just like the looks of this. So stamper in one hand, plate ready. Just going to paint over this. It sort of looks like waves. And grab my scraper, scrape off my excess, pop it onto my stamper, and that's just slightly blurry, but you can see that's on there. So just get this out the way, and then pick up my colour pop. and turn it around because that's just felt uncomfortable. So I'm going to just line it up, and I'm going to try and get as much of the nail as I can. So roll it on, and you can press because it is squishy, and remove. And as you can see, that is just gorgeous. That is really, really pretty. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to pop the tile back so that you can see what I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to edge this one in white either, but I would, if you are so inclined, I'll show you the black one that I did earlier. So as you can see, that's just been edged, so that is something that you can do. Now, sorry guys, just knocking the tripod. At this point, I'm going to use, for this one, I'm going to use my CND Shellac top coat, and I'm just going to just show you how I do it. Now, there are additives on here, so I still would float my brush. So a nice healthy layer of top coat. Hold your brush almost parallel to your Colourpop and float it over, and hold it in the camera so you can see. Sorry guys, this really doesn't want to focus today. So float it over your design, and as you put your top coat on, the green gold sparkle will just really just jump out at you, and it is just gorgeous. It's subtle, but you'll just get a gorgeous hint of colour. So that's done. Cap your free edge. Always remember to cap your free edge, and then that will go in the lamp for 2 minutes. So you can see that green gold sparkle coming through now. So this was the other design. Now I'm going to show you how to top coat. This one I'm using the Indigo Nails Matte Effect UV top coat. So I do want this one to be matte. I do prefer these in matte. I just think it completes the look. It gives you that sort of sheer, almost like a stocking effect. It looks like very fancy stockings. Some girls in my nail group have described it like that. So, oh, sorry guys, my light's just being bizarre today. So I'm just, nice healthy top coat, and I'm going to pop that, seal your free edge, and I'm going to pop that in the lamp for 2 minutes also, and I'll be back when they're done to show you in focus what these look like. Okay guys, so these are the two finished ones. The one on the left is the matte, the one on the right is the shiny one with the CND Shellac top coat. As you can see that green gold sparkle, and it doesn't take away from the fact that the nail is sheer. Two more here that I just wanted to show you quickly. The one on the left I have done in cream puff. I've added a layer of sizzling sand. Now that is just stunning, and I popped a stamp over the top, and it's still sheer. The one on the right, I have used the new Plum Paisley from the CND Modern Folklore collection, and I've stamped over with holographic polish, which is here from the Colour Club. Now it's called Harp on it. I bought it on eBay, but that one turned out really well. It's very sheer, and I'm really happy with that. Okay guys, so if you've got any comments, leave them in the comments bar below and I'll get back to you. I'll pop all the information in the description bar. And please give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching. Bye.